I'm here from Washington, D.C., born and raised there. Had a bunch of trials. I started out, I was in special education the whole time. Probably the first person to graduate out of high school at Dunbar, out of the special education program. I went on there to junior college. When I left Dunbar, man, I was reading at like 4th, 5th grade level, literally. Went to college, reading that same thing. I was in, I remember sitting in Miss Mavusi's class. I was in Imperialism in Africa. That was the class I was sitting at. And I was sitting probably no further than this young man right here. And at Drake, there's about, and I'm sure it's probably the same size here, it's about maybe 15, 20 people in the class. So your teacher, professor knows your work. So I get there, and he had a guy by the name of Coach Butler, graduated from Yale, big time coach. So the program was to, you had work to do, and of course we wasn't typing no paper, so we hand our paper to Coach Butler. Coach Butler turns them in, types them, gives them back to you, you turn it in. So Coach Butler one day decided he was going to redo a paper that I did, which, I'm sure at a 5th grade level, it's probably pretty bad. And it was real bad. So he redid the paper, turned it in, and of course I see my name on it, so I just look at it, okay, turn it in, do what I do. So then I get a call from Miss Mavusi, who probably taught college. She was probably there for maybe 15 years, probably over at Drake, and most of the professors at Drake have written their curriculum, literally have written their books and everything, and they're summa cum laude and all kinds of other stuff, and that's the professors there over at Drake. So at that point, she calls me into her office and says, Kevin? I was like, yeah, okay, how you doing, Ms. Mavusi? Sit down. I was like, can you read something for me? I say, I guess. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, something ain't right. So I sit down, and she wants me to read a paragraph, and I start to attempt to read a paragraph. And I'm looking at these words like, Ms. Mavusi, I can't even read that. It's got like 6, 7 syllables in it. So I'm like, so she turns it over and says, this is your paper, right? And I say, yeah, it's my paper, but I didn't write that. So it went from she gave me an I, an incomplete. The incomplete went from an F to a full-out NCAA investigation, just like that. I went, that game I remember playing, I went to Tulsa, had 30 points, 15 rebounds, and that's how I was most of the time in my life. Before I went to Dunbar, I was in trouble. I was sent away to Boys Town in Colorado Springs for 3 years. I spent 3 years there. I was in a lot of trouble when I was a kid, in and out of group homes, stuff like that. Mom wasn't around, stuff like that. That didn't stop me from enduring, though. So the whole thing of poor me, yeah, that don't work with me. And it shouldn't work with you either. Because here's the thing. Each and every one of you have been given a talent, regardless of what it is. You have to find out what that is, what you're best at, what you're good at. Your friends sometimes don't always make the best decisions. So in being a friend at the same time, let them know. Don't stand around and watch them make mistakes. When you see something different, be a friend. That's what really a friend is. So in that process, all those people around me were never really my friends because they watched me do all kinds of goofiness. So when I got sent to Boys Town, nobody said anything. And I was sent to Boys Town pretty young. I was sent to Boys Town at 13. If I was caught with what happened today, I would have been charged as an adult and probably sent to prison for the rest of my life. Literally. Because now they charge kids or teen or juveniles as adults. So back moving forward, they took my GPA, dropped it to a 1.0, which at that point it didn't matter. I'm sure I didn't have much of a GPA at that point anyway. I took a year of eligibility from me. That night I came home from Tulsa, I was on ESPN, and I was in a newspaper about athlete, young man, put your phone away. Have some respect, appreciate it. So in that process, I get in the newspaper, and I come back to Drake, and the newspaper is plastered on my door with "Dumb N, go home." Literally. So I'm in this whole funk of trying to figure this whole thing out. And all the people I thought were my friends was kind of scattered away. They wasn't really nothing to do with me anymore. Because I'm the kid that couldn't read. The 6'8", 270-pound kid that couldn't read. Literally. So at this point, I got to pull my pants up. Literally. I got to strap in. I got to buckle down. I got to do something that I've never been able to do in my entire life in my mind. And that's learn how to read and write at the age of 22. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was the best thing, the most gratifying thing I could ever do in my life. The basketball, the going overseas, making money and buying this and having that means absolutely nothing right now, today. Because now I can give this to those two young men over there who I coach. Junior college started me off on the track. So I decided I wanted to go back and coach at junior college to give kids the same opportunity I had. And everybody comes with their own story. Every last one of you have your own story. Every last one of you have your own struggles. But you have to endure, guys. You have to endure. This is the biggest thing about being an athlete. And most of you walk around and you don't know people are watching you half the time that you don't even pay attention to. The littlest thing you're doing, getting an extra plate of jelly when you ain't supposed to be doing it, or doing something that you know when you do it is wrong. Everybody's watching. And they figure you got it easy because you're an athlete. They do. But I know you work just as hard or even harder than most people, because you have to perform on the court as well as on the mat or on the field, as well as perform in the classroom, on top of weightlifting, running, training, all those things. So you always have to be on your game, always. So I understand that, definitely. On top of making sure your parents are happy with you and all that stuff like that. So it's a struggle. And guess what? At times it's going to be a struggle. Find somebody who you can talk to. Find somebody who you can confide in. But don't just let things happen without doing nothing about it. I'm lucky. I really am. And I'm blessed. I really am. I'm a blessed person. Because to learn how to read and write at 22, man, I'd rather be shot again. Yes, I was shot before, so you know that too. So I would literally rather be in the streets of D.C. again and going through that mess than have to learn how to read and write at the age of 22. Like, seriously. I can remember crying, throwing stuff, breaking TVs and stuff like that, because it was that difficult. It really was. It was that difficult. But I went on and graduated from Drake, academic All-American as well as athletic All-American. You can't get to the point where you just want to quit. And I know some of you probably get to that point where you just want to quit because it's too hard. Or in your mind, you think it's too hard. But you think about this. You push your bodies, most of you, to places where people will never, ever be able to push their bodies to. How do you think you get there? Your mind. You endure that. But when it comes to those other things, you just kind of just getting a C when you should actually have a B. Getting a B when you actually are capable of getting an A. So don't settle. Don't settle, guys. Endure, endure, endure. I'm going to read this to you right quick. because this is a book I've had for maybe 12 years, 15 years. And I read it. I've probably read this book so many times, it's ridiculous. So I'm going to read this because this is something I read to myself all the time to remind me of the place where I was compared to where I am now. All right? So it says, it's called Promise. It says, Heavenly Father, I thank you in Jesus Christ. I hope. I thank you for the help you provide each day. You are indeed my strength, my provider. I call upon you in times of need, and you have never failed me. Indeed, you are very present in my life. I am grateful in the circumstances of life. You provide an opportunity to know you are fully. I am grateful that the circumstances in life provides an opportunity to know you are more fully. Each situation presents an opportunity to find the power, provision, and protection that only is found in you. Help me to keep my focus on your greatness and your goodness so that I can become more Christ-like each day. May my testimony be a light in this world. I pray in your name. Amen. So for me, my testimony, I hope that it reaches somebody, helps somebody, because it may be some of you guys in here that struggle with reading, writing. There's nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody struggles in something. You have to push through. You have to find, how can I get better at this? What is it that I can do? Who can I reach out to help me get past this? And some of you just, this comes easy. It comes easy. But if you have a teammate or a friend that you know is struggling, hey, say something to them. Let them know, encourage them. Be a friend. Always. Don't sit back and just watch crap happen when you know it's wrong, especially if they're your friend, especially if you care about them. Brother, sister, friend, cousin, nephew, uncle, it don't matter. It doesn't matter, guys. Stay strong, endure, push through, because life is up and down every day. It really is. Life is up and down every day. 3 days ago? 3 days ago, I was just in the hospital 3 days ago for something that I would never, ever think would happen to me. I have AFib. Just found out like last year. And now all of a sudden I'm having these problems and I'm thinking, man, I've taken care of my body all my life. Like literally, all my life. What is this crap about? Something else I got to endure. Because I refuse to lay down and let it win. But if it's my time, it's my time. I can tell you that. I'm okay with it. To this point, I'm okay with it. Because I've done everything I can do to get to this point. So things are going to happen, guys. They really are. Things you don't like, things you ask yourself, why? Guess what? Why not you? Why not you? Be the light in it. Endure through it. Because if you start asking why you, and you stay there and pity and all like that, it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse, and it's going to get worse quick. All right, I'm done.